You know exactly what you need to do. You just can't make yourself do it. Hours pass, days slip by, and that task sits there untouched. But what if the problem was never your motivation? What if it's your mindset? In a few minutes, I'll show you a simple shift that forces you into action even when you don't feel like it. Because if you don't change this now, you'll keep watching your potential slip through your fingers. One, the power of taking action. There's a fundamental misunderstanding people carry about success. The belief that you have to feel inspired before you can act. That belief is fatal to your progress. Success doesn't belong to the people waiting on motivation. It belongs to the people who build the discipline to act regardless of how they feel. Here's the truth. Motivation follows movement. It's not the cause of action. It's the result of it. A lot of people think they need to feel ready before starting their journey. They wait for the perfect moment, the right opportunity, a wave of inspiration that may never show up, and that hesitation is the single biggest reason so many never reach their goals. Successful people operate differently. They understand action comes before clarity, not after it. Taking the first step is what reveals the path. Each action uncovers something you couldn't see while sitting still. Think of someone chasing financial success who gets stuck in hesitation. He studies, plans, strategizes, but never executes. He's waiting to feel ready, believing that feeling will hand him the confidence to move. But confidence isn't a prerequisite. It's a byproduct of action. You can't think your way into success. You have to act your way into it. History is full of people who moved forward despite the uncertainty. Edison didn't wait around for inspiration to perfect the light bulb. He ran experiment after experiment, letting each failure move him closer to the answer. Ford didn't sit on his hands until the auto industry proved itself. He acted with conviction and reshaped an entire industry. What set these men apart wasn't some special ability to summon motivation. It was their willingness to move without it. Action puts you in contact with reality in a way that thinking never can. You see what works, what doesn't, what needs adjusting. Every step you take replaces doubt with actual knowledge. Meanwhile, the person waiting for motivation stays stuck, caught in a loop of overthinking and self-doubt. The hardest part is always the first step. That initial resistance feels enormous, whether it's business, personal growth, or anything else. But the moment you push through it, momentum takes over. The mind rewards movement with clarity and conviction. What looked impossible starts to feel inevitable. A salesperson who hesitates before the first call freezes up with fear. Force yourself to dial anyway, and something shifts. The fear shrinks, confidence builds, and each call after that gets easier. He didn't wait for motivation, he acted, and motivation caught up. Same principle everywhere. The entrepreneur who launches without full certainty, the writer who starts before inspiration hits, the speaker who takes the stage despite nerves. None of them succeed because they felt ready. They succeed because they refuse to let inaction call the shots. Success isn't lit up by motivation, it's carved out through disciplined action. Master this, and you understand that waiting is the real enemy of progress. Act whether you feel like it or not, knowing motivation will eventually catch up to the people already in motion to overcoming fear and doubt. Fear stands like a shadow at the edge of every worthwhile pursuit, whispering doubts, what if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? Planting hesitation before you've even started. Here's the truth. Fear lies. Most of what you're afraid of never actually happens, and even when it does, it's not the end. It's just a stepping stone. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than they'd probably like to admit. The difference is they kept moving. They didn't let fear write the script. They understood progress comes from action, not endless overthinking. The first step is always the hardest and also the most important. Taking it anyway, while still afraid, is what separates people who achieve things from people who just dream about them. Fear shrinks the moment you move toward it. It grows in the unknown, feeding on hesitation. The longer you wait, the bigger it gets. But the second you act, its grip starts to loosen. Courage was never about feeling fearless. It's acting despite the fear. Ask yourself, what's the actual worst case? Could you handle it? Almost always the answer is yes. People are more resilient than they give themselves credit for. Most failures are recoverable. Most mistakes can be fixed. And even in the rare case something goes seriously wrong, the experience still teaches you something useful for next time. Fear feeds on hesitation. The longer you wait, the stronger it gets, which is exactly why procrastination is fear's best friend. Your mind blows up the imagined consequences of failure until they look impossible to survive. The only real cure is immediate action. Even small, consistent moves start dissolving fear. Every step forward, however tiny, chips away at the illusion of its power. Picture fear as a wall that looks unscalable from far away. intimidating, solid. But as you get closer, you start noticing the cracks. And once you actually start climbing, it turns out the wall was never as tall as it looked. Fear works the same way. It tricks you into thinking progress is impossible. When the only real obstacle was inaction, take Edwin C. Barnes, a man who wanted more than anything to work alongside Thomas Edison. No money, no connections, no clear plan, just a vision and stubborn determination. He could have let that stop him. Instead, he boarded a freight train, showed up at Edison's office, and announced he intended to become his business partner. He started in a low-level job and never let go of the goal. Years later, when the opportunity finally opened up, he seized it and became a key part of Edison's business. His story proves fear loses its grip the moment you act decisively. So how do you actually beat fear? Face it directly. Stop waiting for a perfect moment. There isn't one. The only way to shrink fear is to move. Break your goal into smaller pieces and take them one at a time. Every action you take loosens fear's hold a little more. The more you confront it, the weaker it gets until what once terrified you becomes just another challenge to handle. Fear only holds power if you let it stop you. The real enemy of progress was never failure. It's refusing to try in the first place. The choice is yours. Let fear steer your future, or take the wheel yourself despite it. That single choice will shape the direction of your entire life. Choose action. Choose progress. 3, killing procrastination. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow? How many times has tomorrow become next week, next month, next year, until suddenly time has slipped away and all you're left with is unfinished plans and wasted potential? The truth is, the perfect moment you're waiting for doesn't exist. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you can actually take control. Procrastination is a quiet thief. It disguises itself as preparation, perfectionism, or needing ideal conditions. You tell yourself you need more time, more knowledge, more confidence, but the longer you wait, the harder starting becomes. Every delay reinforces the habit of inaction. The only way out is to act now, even if it's messy, even if it's small. One imperfect action beats 100 perfect intentions that never happened. Try the 5-minute rule. Commit to working on something for just 5 minutes. No pressure, no overthinking. Once you start, you'll probably keep going. Momentum is powerful. It turns hesitation into progress. The hardest part of any task is the beginning, but once you push past that initial resistance, everything gets easier. Discipline is the key. Distractions are everywhere. Social media, notifications, endless entertainment. Control your environment or it'll control you. Set clear deadlines. Break big tasks into small, manageable pieces. Prioritize consistency over perfection. Small daily efforts compound into real results over time. Success isn't about doing something once. It's about showing up every day, even on the days you don't feel like it. Accountability helps too. Tell someone your goals, track your progress, write things down. Committing to yourself and to others creates a sense of responsibility that makes quitting harder. The gap between people who succeed and people who don't isn't talent. It's the ability to act without waiting for the right mood or perfect conditions. Time is your most valuable resource. Every moment spent waiting for the right time is a moment you'll never get back. Your future is being shaped right now by what you choose to do or not do. Keep waiting or take control and start today. That choice is entirely yours. But remember, tomorrow isn't promised. All you actually have is now. So stop waiting, stop endlessly planning, and take the first step, however small or imperfect it is, because action beats inaction every single time for building. Self-discipline was never about making yourself suffer. It's about training yourself to win. It's a mindset, a commitment to doing things well, and a real belief in your own ability to keep going. Every time you show up for yourself, you prove you can trust yourself. That trust becomes confidence, and confidence fuels everything after it. Discipline isn't about misery. It's about reinforcing habits that actually lead somewhere. The more you push through discomfort, the easier it becomes. The first time you step into something uncomfortable, it feels unbearable. Your mind screams for you to stop, to retreat to comfort, but resist that. Push through anyway, and you start reshaping how your mind works. You rewire it to embrace challenge instead of running from it. Eventually, what once felt impossible becomes routine. You build real resilience, the kind that turns obstacles into stepping stones. Discipline isn't doing what you feel like doing. It's doing what needs doing, regardless of how you feel. Rely on motivation, and you're at the mercy of your own moods. Motivation comes and goes like weather. Discipline doesn't work that way. It's a decision to act, whether you feel like it or not. You don't negotiate with your emotions. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't look for an out. You just act. Alarm goes off. You get up. It's time to work. You work challenges show up. You meet them head on. That ability to act regardless of feeling is what separates people who succeed from people who stay stuck. Success isn't built on motivation. It's built on consistency. Anyone can stay motivated for a day, a week, maybe a month. What happens once the excitement fades, once the honeymoon phase ends? That's where discipline takes over. It's not about grand gestures or bursts of inspiration. It's showing up day after day, whether you feel like it or not. Consistency is the foundation everything else is built on. The people who reach their goals aren't necessarily the most talented. They're the ones who refuse to quit. They keep going when progress slows, when they're tired, when nobody's watching. Discipline works like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Like any muscle, it needs training, repetition, effort. If you want to become disciplined, you have to actually practice it. Start small. Wake up when you say you will. Keep the commitments you make. Do the work even when you don't feel like it. These small acts stack up over time into real personal integrity, knowing you can count on yourself. Once that trust is built, your potential stops having a ceiling. The biggest rewards go to people who keep doing what needs to be done long after the initial excitement wears off. Plenty of people can start something very few finish. The world is full of people who began with enthusiasm and quit the moment things got hard. But real discipline is about staying the course, even when you don't feel like it, even when the path is unclear, even when progress is invisible. That's exactly when breakthroughs happen. That's what separates you from everyone else. Self-discipline is the bridge between your goals and actually reaching them, the quiet force carrying you from where you are to where you want to be. Without it, dreams stay dreams with it. Almost anything is possible. Discipline isn't punishment. It's a gift, the highest form of self-respect. Train it, and there's no real limit to what you can build. 5, turning pain into fuel. Pain is a powerful teacher. It can break you or build you, and that choice belongs entirely to you. Face hardship, and you have two options: let it crush you or rise from it stronger. Pain is unavoidable. Growth is optional. How you respond to life's hard moments determines where you end up. Let setbacks make you bitter, or let them make you better. Every successful person has faced rejection, loss, failure. Nobody reaches the top without scars from the fight. What separates people who make it from people who don't isn't the absence of pain. It's refusing to let pain stop them. Instead, they use it as fuel. Pain becomes the fire that forges them into something stronger. Sharpening focus, strengthening resolve. Where others crumble, they rise. Next time life knocks you down, don't stay down. Get up with renewed intensity. Let pain push you to become sharper and more relentless. Growth is never comfortable, and that's exactly why pain matters. It forces evolution, stretches your limits, and shatters complacency. The deepest lessons come from struggle, not ease. Pain carves wisdom into you, shaping who you're becoming. Discomfort is where transformation begins. When you're hurting, you're mid-transition. And in that moment, you get to decide whether the pain consumes you or you harness it. Most people run from pain. The wiser ones recognize it as an ally, the force that moves you forward when nothing else will. Learn to lean into hard times instead of shrinking from them, and you gain a real edge. You become genuinely hard to shake. Reframe pain as part of the process, and everything shifts. It stops being the enemy and starts being a guide. Pain isn't the end of the road. It's the start of something bigger. Use it as motivation, and you push past what you once thought was your limit. You tap into strength you didn't know you had. Look at the most resilient people throughout history. They all share one thing. They converted their pain into power. They faced rejection and used it to sharpen their craft. They faced loss and let it deepen their sense of purpose. They faced failure and turned it into a stepping stone. Pain became their teacher, shaping them into people remembered for generations. You carry that same capacity. You're capable of more than you realize, but only if you're willing to face the struggle instead of avoiding it. Step toward the fire instead of away from it. Let it shape you into something stronger. Every time pain shows up, remind yourself, this is where I grow. This is where I become who I'm meant to be. Life will test you. It will throw obstacles in your way, moments where the pain feels like too much. But remember, it's not there to destroy you. It's there to build you, to shape you into someone unbreakable. When the storm hits, and it will stand tall, face it. Don't retreat. Use it. Turn it into fuel. Because in the end, pain isn't your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. 6, setting clear goals. If you don't know where you're headed, you'll never actually get there. Life without goals is like sailing with no compass. You drift, never really arriving anywhere. Goals give you direction, purpose, something to aim at, clarity in a world full of noise, making sure every step you take actually moves you closer to the life you're picturing. But just setting goals isn't enough. You have to define them with precision. Vague ideas like, I want to be successful or I want to be happy, don't give you anything to build on. Instead, get specific and measurable. What exactly do I want? By when? How will I measure progress? The more specific you get, the clearer the path forward becomes. Once your goals are defined, break them into actionable steps. A big vision can feel overwhelming, but broken down into smaller pieces, it becomes achievable. Each step builds momentum, turning what once looked impossible into something that feels inevitable. Still, the most important factor is action. Without it, goals stay wishes, dreams that fade over time. Take action daily, no matter how small. Consistency compounds into real results. The most successful people aren't necessarily the most gifted. They're the ones who refuse to quit. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Turning aspiration into accomplishment requires an actual roadmap. Write your goals down. This simple act reinforces commitment and sharpens clarity. Research consistently shows people who write down their goals are far more likely to hit them. Once written, break them into monthly, weekly, and daily tasks. This keeps progress steady and prevents the kind of procrastination vague goals invite. Perfectionism is the enemy of progress. Plenty of people freeze up out of fear of failure, but success was never about being flawless. It's about persistence. Focus on progress, not perfection. Learn from setbacks, adjust, keep moving. Growth comes from action, not hesitation. Accountability matters too. Hold yourself responsible for your own progress. Track your efforts. Be honest about what's working and what isn't. Self-discipline and personal responsibility are what separate people who achieve from people who just dream. If it helps, find an accountability partner, a mentor, friend, or coach who can keep you on track. Celebrate small wins. Each milestone is proof you're on the right path, and acknowledging progress reinforces the habits that got you there. Success gets built on these small victories, not just the final result. Goals give you clarity and purpose, but only action turns them into something real. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they don't act consistently. They hesitate, procrastinate, or quit when it gets hard. The people who push through, execute daily, and refuse to give up, those are the people who actually get there. So define your goals, build a plan, and act every single day. Success isn't luck. It's the natural result of relentless effort. Commit fully, and success stops being a maybe and becomes a certainty. 7, building an unbreakable mindset. Your mindset is the foundation for everything you do. It decides whether you rise to a challenge or fold under pressure. A weak mindset is a house built on sand, fragile, easily shaken, quick to collapse. A strong mindset is unshakable. It thrives under pressure and turns obstacles into stepping stones. Every challenge is also an opportunity, but only if you choose to see it that way. Life will test you. Setbacks, failures, hardships you didn't see coming. A fragile mindset treats these as proof that success is out of reach. A strong mindset reframes them as lessons. Failure doesn't break you, it teaches you. It shows you exactly what needs strengthening, what strategy needs refining. The people who win aren't the ones who avoid failure, they're the ones who face it. Learn from it and come back sharper. Your thoughts build your reality. Keep telling yourself, I can't, and you create a self-fulfilling prophecy of failure. But believe in your ability to push through, and you unlock reserves of strength you didn't know you had. The mind shapes your actions and ultimately your results, and it all starts with what you choose to believe. A growth mindset is the real secret weapon of high achievers. It sees potential everywhere, treating ability as something built through effort, not something fixed from birth. People with this mindset keep improving, never settle for stagnation, and actually welcome challenge because they know struggle produces strength. Every hard moment becomes raw material for growth. Strengthening your mindset means feeding it the right input, the same way your body needs the right nutrition. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, books that push your thinking, messages that fuel your ambition and cut negativity out ruthlessly. Who you spend time with, what you consume, and what you tell yourself all shape your mental state. Let toxic influences in, and they'll quietly poison your mindset and drain your potential. Success was never purely about talent. Plenty of talented people fail simply because they don't have the mindset to keep going. Real success belongs to the person who refuses to quit, who gets back up after every setback and keeps moving no matter what. It's not about being the smartest, it's about being the one who won't stop. Build a mindset that never surrenders, and nothing can truly stand in your way. Challenges will still come, but they won't defeat you. Failures will happen, but they won't define you. Doubt will creep in, but it won't control you, because you've built a foundation of real mental strength, and from there you can handle almost anything. Train your mindset, protect it, strengthen it, and watch your life shift in ways you didn't think possible. 8, surrounding yourself with winners. You become like the people you spend the most time with. That simple fact quietly shapes your growth, your success, your entire trajectory. Your circle has a real measurable influence on your mindset, habits, and choices. Surround yourself with people who push you to level up, and you'll rise almost by default. People are deeply social, shaped by the energy and behavior of whoever's around them. Spend time with people who inspire, challenge, and hold you accountable, and you'll naturally start adopting similar traits. They'll push you past your comfort zone, force you to confront your own limitations, expect more from you than you'd expect from yourself, and in response you rise to meet it. Excellence stops being optional and starts being your baseline. The flip side is just as true. Negativity, drama, and excuses spread just as easily. Spend time with people who constantly complain, blame circumstances, or dodge responsibility, and you'll slowly absorb that mindset too. Excuses start feeling normal. Mediocrity starts feeling acceptable. Without noticing, you start justifying inaction instead of chasing growth, and that weight anchors you, keeping you from your actual potential. Your environment previews your future. The people you spend your days with either fuel your progress or quietly stall it. Spend time with people who take action, solve problems, and push through obstacles, and you'll start embodying that same energy. Watching someone's unwavering commitment reinforces your own belief that big goals are actually reachable. Energy is contagious. Every conversation, every shared moment leaves an imprint. Choose carefully. If you want to level up your life, level up your circle first. That means deliberately seeking out people who reflect the values you're aiming for, and cutting ties with relationships that drain you or keep you stuck in old patterns. One of the fastest ways to accelerate growth is finding a mentor, someone who's already walked the road you're on. They carry wisdom and experience that can save you years of trial and error, challenge your thinking, and push you to aim bigger. A good mentor doesn't just teach strategy, they hold you accountable for actually executing it. Beyond mentorship, build relationships with people who genuinely push you to work harder. These are the people who show up when you feel like quitting, remind you of your own goals when you lose sight of them, and celebrate real wins with you. Their presence becomes a catalyst. They'll call out your excuses, push you past hesitation, and lift you up when things get hard. Your success is directly tied to who you surround yourself with. A circle full of driven, disciplined, forward-thinking people pulls you upward. A circle full of negativity and complacency holds you flat. Audit your relationships, who's adding value and who's quietly draining it. Be deliberate about cutting the second group and building the first. Life is too short to be held back by people who won't grow. Your potential has no real ceiling, but it's on you to put yourself in an environment that actually nurtures it. Choose your circle carefully. It's the foundation the rest of your future gets built on. 9. Mastering time management. Time is the most valuable thing you have. Every second that passes is gone for good. Yet most people burn this finite resource on distractions and busy work without registering the loss. If you actually want to succeed, you need real control over how you spend your hours. Most people claim they don't have enough time. The truth is, they just don't manage what they have. Time is the great equalizer. Everyone gets the same 24 hours. The gap between success and failure comes down to how those hours get used. The most successful people don't have extra time. They just use theirs more deliberately. Step 1 is awareness. Track how you actually spend your day. You'll likely be surprised how much of it disappears into trivial tasks, unnecessary meetings, and mindless scrolling. Spotting these time drains is the first move toward reclaiming your schedule. Once you see where your time is leaking, cut whatever doesn't serve your goals. Learn to say no to commitments that drain you without moving you forward. People often fill their calendars with other people's priorities instead of their own. Stop reacting to your day, start planning it ahead of time. A structured schedule is genuinely powerful. Instead of waking up and hoping to feel productive, start each morning with a clear plan already in place. Decide your priorities the night before, so you wake up already knowing what needs doing. Break big goals into smaller daily tasks. This keeps progress steady and prevents that overwhelmed, frozen feeling. Success isn't about being perfect, it's about persistence and discipline. There will always be a reason to procrastinate. but none of them actually move you forward. If something matters, make time for it. If it doesn't, cut it. Every wasted minute is a minute stolen from your own future. Successful people don't wait for the perfect moment. They build it. By using their time deliberately, technology, useful as it is also one of the biggest sources of distraction. Notifications and mindless scrolling can quietly eat hours without you noticing. If distraction is a recurring problem, set real boundaries, limit screen time, kill unnecessary notifications, and carve out blocks for deep, focused work. Protecting your time is one of the most valuable habits you can build. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Commit to your schedule and actually hold yourself to it. Set deadlines and stick to them. Time isn't just about output, it's about purpose. Every moment spent working toward your goals is a step closer to the life you're building. Take control of your time, and you take control of your life. Productivity was never about working harder, it's about working smarter, knowing what genuinely matters and putting your time there. The gap between people who succeed and people who don't isn't intelligence or luck, it's how they use their time. Your future depends on what you do with today. Stop making excuses. Stop burning minutes on things that don't matter. Prioritize, plan, and execute with precision. The clock never stops. Make every second count 10. Treating failure as feedback. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a required part of the journey. The most successful people in history have failed far more than most people even attempt. Their resilience, persistence, and willingness to actually learn from failure is what set them apart. Every failure carries a lesson, a chance to grow, a chance to refine your approach. Too often, failure gets treated as a final verdict on someone's ability. In reality, it's just feedback, a signal pointing toward what needs adjusting. It's a process of elimination, showing you what doesn't work so you can find what does. The only real failure is quitting before you've extracted the lesson buried in the setback. A big reason people fear failure is fear of being judged. Society tends to spotlight the wins while glossing over the struggle that led there, which distorts how failure gets perceived, making it seem rare instead of normal. In reality, failure is universal. Every great inventor, entrepreneur, artist, or leader has hit setbacks. What separates them is how they respond, they analyze, adapt, and keep going. Instead of treating failure as embarrassing, treat it as proof you stepped outside your comfort zone and actually took a risk. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. The ability to recover from failure builds real resilience, a trait essential for long-term success. Accept and process failure well, and you become more adaptable, more prepared for whatever comes next. Growth happens in discomfort. Success was never about avoiding mistakes. It's about learning from them. The more you fail, the more you grow, which is what turns failure from a roadblock into a stepping stone. Rather than fearing failure, train yourself to see it as a chance for self-improvement. Every misstep teaches you something real about your skills, your strategy, even your own mindset. Refine your approach after each one, and your odds of long-term success keep climbing. Shift your perspective on failure, and it loses its power to discourage you. Instead of freezing up over setbacks, you use them as motivation to push forward. Fail faster, and you learn faster, and ultimately, you succeed faster. Progress requires persistence, and persistence requires the willingness to fail without losing momentum. History is full of people who turned failure into success. Edison famously failed thousands of times before landing on a working light bulb. And when asked about it, he said he hadn't failed. He'd simply found thousands of approaches that didn't work. If the most successful people alive have failed constantly, why should anyone else fear it? The fear of failure keeps a lot of people from even starting, but the people who treat failure as a stepping stone end up going much further. Success was never a straight line. It's full of ups, downs, setbacks, breakthroughs. What matters is how you respond. Do you retreat or adjust and keep moving? In the end, success isn't about never failing. It's about never quitting. The people who achieve big things aren't necessarily the most talented or luckiest. They're the ones who refuse to let failure define them. They treat it as a teacher, a necessary part of the process. So keep pushing, keep refining, keep treating failure as feedback. Each one brings you a step closer, making you stronger and more resilient along the way. The only real failure is giving up. Everything else is just progress. 11. The moment of decision right now, you have a choice. Keep waiting, hesitating, making excuses, or decide today is the day everything changes. The day you stop talking and start doing. No more waiting, no more excuses, just action, because action is the only thing that actually gets you where you're trying to go. Success was never built on wishing or hoping. It's built on doing. Dreams stay dreams unless they're backed by real effort and persistence. Plenty of people spend years waiting for the right moment, the perfect opportunity, some kind of sign to begin, but waiting doesn't produce results. The only path forward is taking the first step. However small, decide today that you're done waiting, done second-guessing yourself, done holding back. The truth is, there's never going to be a perfect moment. Conditions will never line up 100%. The people who succeed aren't the ones waiting for perfect. They're the ones acting anyway. Despite uncertainty, fear, or discomfort, they move forward even when the odds feel stacked against them. Take control by acting now. Every successful person made a decision to start at some point. None of them waited for confidence to magically appear. They built it through action. The only way to build real confidence is by proving to yourself through doing that you actually can. You don't need every answer right now. You just need to begin. Action creates momentum, and momentum drives progress. Start small if you have to, but start. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. Procrastination doesn't just delay success, it quietly kills it. Every day spent waiting is a day you could have used to move closer to your goal. Don't let hesitation cost you your own potential. Push past the excuses, the doubts, the fear. Fear never fully disappears, but it loses its grip the moment you act despite it. Step into what you're actually capable of. You have more in you than you think, the ability to change your life, rewrite your story, build the future you actually want. But it all starts with action. Decide right now that from this point on you're not stopping. Commit to showing up for yourself every day, whether you feel like it or not. Motivation will come and go. Discipline and action are what carry you. The rest of the way, success is built on consistency, not fleeting bursts of inspiration. Your future depends on what you do right now. The choices you make today shape the life you're living tomorrow. There's no shortcut, no magic formula, just action, persistence, and follow-through. So stop waiting, stop making excuses, and start. Your time is now.